FANSPLAINED, a weekly media criticism podcast with Ryan and M. I'm Ryan.
And I'm M.
And Ryan is currently hitting me with a stuffed animal.
I'm not Ryan.
M is currently hitting me with a stuffed animal. I am Ryan. I know my own name. So, welcome back. This is a continuation of the CHIBI Moon Knight series, in which we're talking about the finale of Moon Knight, Season 1.
And the
AKA,
son of a bitch is dead it.
Yeah, if you don't want spoilers, don't listen to the rest of this episode.
Don't listen to it. Just
I'm gonna give you a 5-second pause.
Just know that I got everything I wanted out of this finale.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I assume if you're still here, this isn't spoiler territory for you.
Yeah. I got everything I wanted out of this.
I know.
I think the last actual Disney Plus finale that satisfied me this much was probably Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Loki was one of those where they just it was too much talking and not enough doing a whole lot. I know a lot of people were really jazzed about Kang, but
I don't care about Kang.
He just kind of waxed poetic for way too long.
And I think that's probably the thing, is that we just don't care about Kang.
It could have been fine if it had just been less like, let me explain literally all the lore to you that we spent the last however many episodes trying to explain.
Because it's like, we have a lot of talking in this episode, but there was
stuff
still
happens.
Yeah, there was still a lot of stuff pushing the plot forward. And
it had to, because it had a lot to sum up in 45 minutes.
Yeah. It was very short.
We had to bring Mark back from the dead. We had to find Steve. Well, both.
He had to find Steven first.
He had to go
and
find
then come
Steven.
back
They had to come back from the dead.
They brought my boy back. I was so happy.
We had to reveal what in the hell was going on with the unknown to them third altar.
I know. I finally got to see the third altar.
We had to defeat Harrow somehow.
Which they did. You mean Ammit?
Well, Harrow and Ammit.
That's right.
Harrow and Ammit.
It almost sounded like you said Hera for a minute.
No, this is not our podcast on the 10 Commandments. But on top of that, we also got Layla as a superhero.
Yes.
As the Wonder Woman we actually deserved in WW84.
Uh-huh. You know that's gotta burn it's gotta burn someone's ass at DC that they marketed that, eagle costume that Wonder Woman had, and then they didn't. It was
freaking cool too, and then they didn't even really use it that much.
Yeah, they didn't do hardly anything with it.
And that meanwhile, movie was really racist toward the end, especially when you get to the Egypt stuff, versus this, where they make a very conscious effort not to do that.
Yeah.
And you have Layla whipping out a very similar but far more functional costume with the metal wings, which was rad as hell.
It was very functional. It was very badass. It was very cool.
And she pulled the Black Panther / Wonder Woman crossed arms thing.
It was very nice.
To which a girl asks her right after this, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" To which she says yes. And I got a little sad about it because I loved it. Bless. I loved it a lot. I really liked Layla in the show, a lot, and I did not expect to. But having her and Steven / Mark fight together was really cool looking.
It was very cool.
And by the time you get to Mark and Steven just constantly flipping personalities every couple seconds.
It's so I need to talk about how I got very choked up when Mark was like, "No, I'm going back for him. I'm not okay leaving him like that." And it was like, "Yes! You go get him! You do it now." And he did.
You were really upset.
I was
about
so
Steven.
upset. I was very upset. So to have him not only go back for Steven and them hug and be unified, and then they started slipping in and out when the fighting, and Steven got batons like Daredevil. It was so much. It was so good.
Now I can't wait for them to explain eventually if this gets a season 2 or in whatever else they bring this back up in, because they leave it very open-ended. where in the hell Jake came from. Because we know where Steven came from, right? Like, he's the...
I mean, I would be willing to believe that Jake is part of the reason that he got booted out of the Marines.
Oh, probably.
I also really like that he speaks Spanish. And
yes, Oscar Daddy speaks Spanish to me all the time. Thank you.
Not only is he speaking Spanish, but he's carrying around them guns and those gloves, and I'm like, it's very desperado of you. I like it. Very Robert Rodriguez over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very into it. I've only met Jake, and I'm like, oh, yes. Yes.
You're over here doing the Brooklyn Nine-Nine meme with both Jake and Steven at the same time.
And
for very different reasons.
And Mark's sassy ass over here, too. He could tag along. I love all three of them, and I'm not even gonna try to hear other people's arguments about why I shouldn't. No! I love them. And I love Oscar Daddy in a TV show.
Ooh, Daddy.
Yes. Please do more, Oscar Daddy.
Yeah, I will be very sad if we don't get a season 2 or a film or something.
I mean, at the same time, it's one of those few finales where I'm genuinely satisfied. Like, I'm hyped for more, but I'm also satisfied with how they ended the story.
Sure, they just leave it open-ended enough that I really want them to do stuff with the stuff that they left open.
I mean, I really love
like, if this is the end of the story, yeah, okay, fine.
Like, I absolutely love how tight the pacing was on this whole show.
Oh my god.
It was so good. Like, there was never a wasted moment in this show.
Well, and these last 2 episodes were done by the same guy who did the first.
Yeah. Muad'Dib?
I mean, that's not his name.
I know.
Yes.
Well... He's pretty rad. I know I make fun by using the Dune name, but he's actually...
Okay, but the Dune references in this episode. Killing Oscar Isaac in the
desert!
Again!
I'm
upset!
I pointed that out to you, and you got very upset over it.
I'm still sad!
He died in the desert. Again! And then the big wave of sand, and I was literally going, it's a sandworm! Run!
Worm sign!
Worm sign!
No, I'm over here just like, here I am, and here I remain, and I'm like, no, I'm so sad, no. You can't keep doing this to me, Oscar Isaac. Please stop dying in the desert.
Please stop.
Please. I'm upset.
You can't keep dying on us, bro. Like, don't do this.
Please don't become Sean Bean.
No! I can't take that. It's bad enough when it happens to Sean Bean, because I really like Sean Bean. Even though I know to anticipate it at least, 70% of the time. Like, it's very rare that he doesn't die in something nowadays.
Yeah, I find that more surprising.
I find it more surprising when he lives, yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't make this a habit, Oscar. We love you. Yeah, we want to see your stuff everywhere.
The only thing that really confused me was them taking it back to the asylum.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a little weird because I thought that was very like a Mark Stevens specific thing, and then they tied Harrow very specifically into it in like the opposite direction.
Yeah,
and I thought it was a little strange. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, we're ending that, but like,
it was very
okay, wait, that's a real place now?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Because it does have a more yellowish tint versus the bright white.
So it is really like Legion then, where you get the parts of the asylum that feel, or the institution, I should say. They called it an asylum.
Yeah.
The facility. Where they film it very specific different ways to make you feel very specific different things about it.
Yeah.
Where, like, when it starts feeling super retro-y, you start questioning how much of it is real and how much of it isn't.
Yeah, because we're never given, like, an actual year in Legion. We don't know.
So much of it has, like, this very Clockwork Orange aesthetic to it, too.
It does.
So it's, I mean, not this show, but Legion did. But, like, it was very similar in the way where they'd film certain things in certain ways to try and codify what reality or, like, mental reality it was in.
Yeah, like, Steven and Mark were wearing very washed out or just white colors, whereas when we switched to Harrow, in what seems to be the more realistic asylum setting, he's wearing darker colors, like a red robe or something. And I thought that was interesting. And then we have Jake literally kick a wheelchair for no real damn reason.
Other than he's just a jerk and I'm kind of into it.
I loved it, actually.
I mean, even if we hadn't known as obviously that there had to be like a third altar in there somewhere by now, I would have, I mean, we did. Even if we didn't know as much about Jake as we'd looked up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was calling it the whole time. Like, every time, like, Steven or Mark would make a deal with Khonshu, I'm like, you two made a deal with him. What about that third dude in there?
Yeah, that
he
third
didn't
dude.
say shit.
That Khonshu deliberately never mentioned to them.
Yeah, he absolutely deliberately never mentions it. You can tell.
He knew about Jake the whole damn time. He just never told Mark or Steven about it.
Well, it's because he didn't want to acknowledge Steven.
No.
Because he was constantly like, well, you told me Steven wasn't going to be a problem. Right?
That's someone's car alarm.
But now that he knows, about Jake, he's the one not telling Mark about that.
He knew.
I see you, you sus bastard.
You fucking bone bird bastard. The hell?
I see you, Salieri.
Salieri, back at it again at the Krispy Kreme. This time, not with a musical genius, but with a dude.
Hippopotamus.
But with
hippopotamus.
But with a dude with way too many traumas and some mental instability, and he's like, you know what? It's a good day to be Salieri. I am your patron saint of mediocrity. Except, you know, that deep voice I cannot do.
I mean...
And I'm sure they altered in the editing anyway, but I love F. Murray Abraham as the villain, though. I love him as
sort of villain? Not quite villain?
He is a
very anti-villain.
I would say
antagonist, but not quite a villain.
I say he's an antagonist because he does cause things to happen, and that's essentially what an antagonist is.
But he's not always villain.
No. A villain and an antagonist are two very different things. It's just people end up using them interchangeably because it's like you're antagonizing someone.
Yeah, which is what a villain generally does.
But antagonists are usually just the ones that kick off the action or lead to, you know, the thing being done.
Yeah,
which is what Khonshu is.
A very bad version of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He is.
Said it.
He's like, don't use the Force. Make a deal with me. Be my avatar.
Happy Star Wars Day.
May the Force be with you.
Do you have anything else on this episode?
I'm just very pleased with it. I'm very happy with how it ended. I'm very happy with how it left things off.
I'm really excited to do, like, the formal deep dive of it.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
And also, I can really dig into everything.
And then also the good thing about rewatching it is that we'll be able to actually point out all these things we didn't notice before and their connections or references.
Yeah, I can find you the Kang Easter egg.
Yeah, it's like
because there is one in here.
It's like when we went back and watched the first episode of Game of Thrones on the anniversary.
We kept picking out everything. Yeah.
Yeah, on the anniversary of when it first aired, we watched the first episode of Game of Thrones, and we saw so many references and so many allusions to shit that was going to happen later on down the line that we never noticed before.
I mean, some of them I did know about, but not all of them.
No, I'm talking about the ones neither of us knew about or even noticed until that watch, which was just... I can't even tell you all the ones that we found, but it was many, and I'm assuming we're going to definitely be doing that for Moon Knight now that we know.
I mean, we'll eventually get to Game of Thrones too.
I can't wait to get to Game of Thrones. Those are going to be long episodes.
Well, I mean, those are going to be ones we're probably going to have to do
episode
by episode. At least up to like season 5, where it starts getting kind of dumb.
And in it, we will get to see Pedro Pascal, Oscar Isaac's in real life best friend. Got anything else? You know we're still recording, right? Okay. Now's not the time to be looking at Google Drive.
No, I was trying to find the outro script. I just got really distracted by this thing I didn't know was in that drive for some reason. That's all.
Oh my god.
That's all. You know.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say is that little character moments that stood out. Emotional moments that I felt really paid off. And
all of them?
Pretty much, yeah. I really loved the finale.
Yeah, I'm really glad it stuck it.
Yes, I was so worried that it wasn't going to stick the landing, because, I mean, Moon Knight is not going to be the easiest character to write, or even do a story for, with all that is involved in it. So I was very pleased.
Yeah, and I liked how we got to see all these other Egyptian gods.
Yeah, and all the other avatars and shit. It was really cool.
It is really neat, and I like how, like, they're just... I mean, well, I guess we'll see how, like, the Greeks work when it comes to Thor, because Eternals kind of tried to lampshade that a little bit by being like, but no, we're the reason that some of those Greek gods are named that way.
Shut up, no you're not.
But when we actually have Greek gods that are going to be in Thor, so I'm going to be interested to see how they handle, like, the different, pantheons of stuff.
I'm honestly
because we know how different Egyptian stuff works from, say, the Norse stuff Marvel. And I know that the Greek stuff is slightly closer to Asgardian stuff. Mainly because Hercules is a lot
I'm
like
kind
Thor.
of the mind that with how badly Eternals did, and how they have been trying so hard to, like, sell all the merch in the stores and no one's buying it, I feel like Disney's gonna eventually accept the fact that this was a complete gaffe.
I hope so, because it didn't work.
I wanted it to work.
Like, if you wanted it to I did too, because I really wanted to see Kit and Richard in a movie together. I was real hype about that.
I was really hyped for, Richard to actually be a superhero.
I don't want to get into this, though, because we're going to get into Eternals forever.
I'm just making a point. I wanted it to work. I wanted,
Yeah, we don't go into these things wanting them to suck.
No. I was very, very hyped that they actually got a female director to do it, one who was a recent Oscar winner. I wanted it to work, but my god, it did not fucking work at all.
So I really hope that we move a little away from the ancient aliens garbage.
we don't need that.
We have enough of this with, actual aliens.
Yeah, we have actual aliens.
You know what? I want more, like, religion-y stuff in general. Like, if you're gonna do this, I want more on what made Ronan so crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Go into the whole Kree Xandar
I want Kree stuff. Thank you.
Talk about that. Or if you're going to introduce these pantheons, go through each pantheon. You've already done the Norse, now you've done Egyptian. Let's go into Greek.
We did just introduce, well, Eternals kind of brings up
No, they don't count. I'm taking Eternals, balling it, and trashing it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
It's in the trash with Clippy. No.
Bye, Clippy.
Bye. You suck. But yeah, after that tangent, I would love to see more Moon Knight. Obviously, I would love to see more Oscar, and I would love for other Marvel
to get this weird.
Yeah, let it be weird. Let it be freaky. Let it be everything that it should be, because my god... If you're gonna
no more dour, depressing Thor garbage, please.
If you are going to adapt this stuff and put it out there, just let the freak flag fly. Let it be as weird and unique and strange as it needs to be, as it should be.
Punny, strange. Because, in fact, we are going to see Doctor Strange tomorrow.
And we will be recording that reaction.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that separate, also, from our Marvel Deep Dive stuff.
Yes.
That one will also be, like, spoiler territory everywhere.
Yes.
Spoilers everywhere. So, if you're not prepared for that, give it some time before you listen to it. That is okay. But thank you for listening to this final episode of the Chibi Moon Knight series of Fansplained. If you enjoy what we do, consider donating on Ko-fi. Everything we make goes right back into the production quality of the show. We appreciate all of our subscribers. and everything you do. And we're thankful for anything from Hulk smashing that like button to your questions and comments on each episode, and especially sharing the show with your friends. Fansplained is typically a weekly media criticism and deep dive podcast, and we are currently still working our way through the chronological order of the MCU.
Yes.
We will be catching up with Guardians Volume 2, because we did watch it, we just haven't recorded it yet.
And we'll be
doing the reaction to Multiverse of Madness, and then we will be doing Daredevil for our regularly scheduled one at the end of the week.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are finally going to get to Daredevil. You're finally going to watch it. And I can finally stop bringing this up in every episode.
Yeah, you can. You can find our updates here on YouTube as well as on Twitter and Coffee at Fansplained. If you want more of our conversations on the MCU and other fandoms, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for new episode notifications. So until next time, Salt Shakers, this has been Ryan
and Em
with the Fansplained podcast, and we will see you next episode.